So in the very last video on the channel, we had talked about this game from Saturday night, Edmonton versus Calgary, where the Calgary Flames took a 6-3 win in this edition of the Battle of Alberta. We had talked about the goals, we had talked about the penalties, we had talked about Leon Draisaitl, and we had talked about his hook and call. But one of the interesting things about this game heading into the entire contest, from the Calgary Flames' point of view, happened to have been the lines. Take a look at this tweet that we had seen from earlier that morning, how Andrei Kuzmenko, former Vancouver Canuck and current lovable puppy dog of a personality in the Calgary Flames, was missing from morning skate in Edmonton. It was Jakub Pelche instead, who was skating with Huberdeau and Sharangovich. Dan Vladar ended up getting the start in net, and for a good few hours after this tweet was made, we were kind of like, okay, what the hell's going on with Kuzmenko? He's missing. Like, whoa, Pat Steinberg going out there and saying that he's just straight up gone. What the hell's going on here? And then, shortly after, we had Ryan Huska go out there and say that Kuzmenko is not going to play because he is sick. Sick, okay. So he ended up not playing. It's not technically like an IR thing. He's technically a healthy scratch because he's just on the roster, but even though he's a quote-unquote healthy scratch, he's not really healthy. Okay, he's sick, fine. That's whatever. Projected lineup went as follows, and you had seen the Calgary Flames pull off the victory. But this was on Saturday, the 24th. Earlier today, on the 26th, we had ourselves Calgary Flames practice go on, and this is where things kind of took a little bit of an interesting twist. Because Derek Willis of Fan960 went out there and tweeted this out earlier this morning. It appears that Andrei Kuzmenko is the odd man out at Flames practice. It's probably tough to make changes following a big win in the Battle of Alberta on Saturday. Now wait a minute. Andrei Kuzmenko is the odd man out? What does that mean? Pat's saying that he's practicing with Power Play 1. Then, you had yourselves a tweet made by Pat Steinberg posted here as well. This is the Flames lineup that we had seen earlier today at practice. Connor Zary, Nazem Kadri, Martin Pospisil, Andrew Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman, Jonathan Huberdeau, Sharangovich, and Dryden Hunt, followed up by Pelche, Rooney, and Duhaire, and you have Andrei Kuzmenko as the 13th forward. Meanwhile, you have the D pairings, Uyghur, Anderson, Hanifin, Tanev, goodbye, these guys are going to be gone soon, and then Markstrom, Vladar over here as well. Kuzmenko is taking reps on the top power play unit this morning. Power play 1 features Kadri, Huberdeau, Sharangovich, Kuzmenko, and Uyghur, and then the power play 2 is Backlund, Zary, Coleman, Hanifin, and Anderson. So, seeing this get posted out and seeing that Andrei Kuzmenko is currently the extra man in practice, it kind of got a few fans a little bit upset. Like, okay, wait, is he still sick? Or this shouldn't be hard at all. He makes the team better. Maybe he is still a little bit sick. Oh, he's sick, he's sick, he's sick. And then, of course, there's like the main perspective that says, hey, they just won a really good game on Saturday night, so even if Andrei Kuzmenko is better and he's able to play, why change things up when everything worked out so well with the lineup from last time with Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman, and this Pelche pairing? I mean, swap out Hunt, put him with Sharangovich and Huberdeau, and you have the current lineup from practice today. But because this was the apparent sentiment from today, that Andrei Kuzmenko is now the odd man out at Flames practice, it kind of got a few people up in arms with a few different conversations. For example, this is what Major Moose went out there and tweeted out. Andrei Kuzmenko is already getting healthy scratched, and it's the video of Drake kind of laughing in the car there. And then there are a few replies, yeah, he might be sick. I mean, we'll see what happens here. Could go either way as to whether or not he is still regularly sick and just not able to play properly. That certainly is an option. I mean, if he's sick enough that he's not able to play on a game on Saturday and now it's Monday, 2 days is a lot of time for an NHL athlete to go out there and recuperate things, so we don't really know for sure, but at the same time, the fact that he was practicing in a very limited role whilst being on the 13th forward spot, it does make for some very intriguing optics, and one that I think a lot of Canucks fans might satirically poke fun at, which is kind of what I'm doing by making this video in the first place, but hey, I mean, this happened. He's the 13th forward. He's the odd man out, quote-unquote, in Calgary, so who knows what's going to happen once the Calgary Flames play off again tomorrow, but hey, we've got a few games here. I mean, I think the Flames only have 2 games this entire week. They've got tomorrow on Tuesday, and then they've got another game on Saturday. So there's a lot of time for Andrei Kuzmenko to go out there and recuperate. If he's not going to be playing tomorrow, then maybe he'll play Saturday. Most likely, that'll be a week from the time that he had first missed time from this illness. But just to end things off, we're going to go over just Kuzmenko's profile as well, because this is noteworthy to bring up at the very least. The guy has 4 points in 8 games played. As we had said, it is the same production pretty much that he had in Vancouver. Half a point a game. Certainly not the same point per game metric that he was at last year, but I don't know if that season really was an anomaly now that I think about it a year removed, but still, he was so good last year. He got the contract extension, he re-signed, he wasn't good under Tocchet's system, and now in Calgary, I mean, he got benched earlier, he got placed in the 4th line earlier, he missed a game due to sickness earlier, and now he is the odd man out in Flames practice. This is a very, very interesting timeline for the way Andrei Kuzmenko has been deployed in Calgary, but it may not all be doom and gloom. You see, there are a little bit of extra things that I wanted to talk about as well, because every few days you'll see on the Calgary Flames subreddit somebody posting, hey, how's Andrei Kuzmenko doing? This is, of course, a Canucks fan, and there are a bunch of Canucks fans every few days that come over onto this sub and ask about Kuzi. Let's read what some Flames fans have to say. He's sick at the moment, so he's probably going to be back next game. It's been a good vibe around the team. He's so cheerful and happy. Now, probably back next game. If he's suiting up in the 13th forward position, who really knows if he's going to come back next game, but we'll see tomorrow. Another reply goes out there and says, I apologize on behalf of every Canucks fan that requires daily updates on Andrei Kuzmenko. Blake Coleman and Kadri, though, absolute beauties. Broken Sword goes out there and gives an analysis. It's very obvious that Kuzmenko has a lot of skill, and he seems to have instant chemistry with Huberdeau. We're in a bit of an odd situation with our top line as we don't have a true number 1 center, so it's Igor Sharangovich filling in. He's been okay, but he was definitely more effective on the wing. The line is a bit awkward right now, basically. The team will also likely see a lot of roster movement over the next 2 weeks, so lines are going to keep juggling. It's really tough to tell right now. Then you see more fans going out there and saying he's running around the Saddle Dome with golden retriever energy. In short, exactly as you would expect. As a Canucks fan, I was happy to see the outcome of Saturday's game despite his lack of presence, but hoping he can be a difference maker in the upcoming games for Calgary this season. Then there is another reply saying, hey, Kuzmenko has been pretty good. He's a defensive liability, though, which I don't think is all too surprising. I don't think he's been too terrible. A rebuttal goes out there and says he looks lost, though, when he does not have the puck. And I'm going to go out there and agree with that sentiment. Especially in this season, you could tell that Andrei Kuzmenko, when he didn't have the puck, was a lot more, let's just say, tentative when trying to make plays and put himself in the right spots. Like, Andrei Kuzmenko in his forechecking game was non-existent for a good part of this season, and Rick Tocchet really had to bury it in, saying, yeah, forecheck. You gotta forecheck. You cannot be going out there and just cruising around in the neutral zone and at the blue line. And this repeated hammering down of strategy, do this, it just did not fit with Kuzmenko. Like, of course, we acknowledge that the Vancouver Canucks have been very good this season, and most of these players are on pace or have already bested out their career highs. It's just Andrei Kuzmenko was the only guy that didn't really fit in that spot. He didn't really have the same meshing that Rick Tocchet has had with the rest of this lineup. So Kuzi was the odd man out in Vancouver. It seems like now he is the odd man out in Calgary, at least for now. We'll see whether or not this holds up for tomorrow when the Calgary Flames play off again. But if it's not tomorrow, it'll probably be Saturday. We'll see what happens with Kuzi. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire progression from odd man out in Vancouver to new edition, Hot Flames edition, and a guy who got eventually demoted to the 4th line, who was healthy scratched with an illness, and now who is apparently the odd man out again. Does this worry you? Does this not? Do you think there's still good to be had here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.